Hi guys. Welcome back to the Storytime Society podcast, or welcome to the Storytime Society podcast. So I think today's episode is going to be like sleepover edition because maybe I definitely don't seem like I feel ill. Oh, maybe that's not going to work out like that. I know I don't seem ill, but I have been feeling ill, and I just have not felt good today or yesterday, so okay. Ooh, this is kind of comfortable. But sometimes I think about, like, what is this gonna look like for clips? Am I gonna look like a fucking loony bin? So yeah, I have not felt very good today. I have not felt very good yesterday. I'm filming pretty late because today I kind of just like took a nap, like chilled, laid down. My boyfriend got me some soup and stuff, but yeah, I've not felt well. I don't know why. My mom also hasn't been feeling well. She's obviously back home now, but she texted me yesterday and was like, I am not feeling good. And I was like, wait, same. I'm not feeling good either. And I just realized that I left my Coke Zero over there that I forced my boyfriend to take me to get from McDonald's. Actually, I didn't force him. I was just like, I really want Coke Zero from McDonald's. And then he was like, okay, fine. But yeah, so I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that you're alive and well and on this earth. We love it. And I think we're just probably going to get into the episode because I just talked to you guys yesterday. So it's like probably I don't have much to update you guys on at this current moment. Yeah, I don't think so. My chest is like tight and I'm just not well. I'm like hot. My throat's starting to hurt. You know that feeling where it's like either I'm going to start feeling okay like tomorrow or the next day, or it's going to get like worse from here and go downhill from here. You know what I mean? That always happens with me. I don't know if that's the same with everyone else, but literally always happens with me. It's either I'm just like slightly have a little stint of feeling like I'm getting sick, or sorry guys, I literally can't stop moving. Or I feel like I'm getting sick and then it literally just gets like worse and worse. Okay. So I am so annoyed because I was just looking at my Reddit, the subreddit, which by the way is linked below if you want to join. We have 170 Storytime Society members right now, which we love. And some of the stories that one of the members and then me, we cross-posted are gone, deleted, or just like removed by the moderator on the place that it was originally posted, which is so annoying. And I'm annoyed about it. I'm like feeling my head. I keep taking my temperature and I don't have a temperature, but I should because I feel like I have one. Okay. So this is going to be the first story that we read. Am I the asshole for considering ending my marriage after less than a year because my spouse wouldn't let me take care of my parents during a family emergency? I've been married to my partner for less than a year, and I'm currently contemplating whether I should stay in this marriage. Here's what's been happening. Recently, a close family member of mine had to undergo what was supposed to be a low-risk surgery. Unfortunately, due to complications caused by the doctor's negligence, an additional surgery was required. During this time, my spouse and I had plans to celebrate an important milestone in our relationship. However, the date fell right in the middle of this health scare with my family, so I canceled our plans and suggested that we reschedule once things calmed down. When I brought this up, my spouse became extremely upset, accusing me of not caring about them and only prioritizing my family. This led to a massive argument, and then he even threatened to harm himself. Wait. No, sorry. I just said that wrong. This led to a massive argument, and they even threatened to harm themselves if I didn't put them first. Things got worse. My spouse told both their family and mine that they were feeling unwell, which prompted me to make a long trip to be with them. But when I arrived, I found out that they had been out with friends the night before and seemed perfectly fine when I was there. It felt like they manipulated the situation to pull me away from my family during a critical time. Additionally, my spouse isn't contributing much to the household chores, leaving the majority of the work to me. They've also threatened to harm themselves or stop eating if things don't go their way. Financially, we split our expenses equally, but they control how I spend my money, especially when it comes to supporting my family, which was something I made clear was important to me before we got married. Despite this, they criticize me for providing financial support to my family. I feel like I'm stuck in a toxic situation where I'm being emotionally manipulated and I'm seriously considering leaving. I'd appreciate hearing perspectives, especially from those who have been in similar situations, and am I the asshole for thinking about ending this marriage? No. And not only are you not the asshole, but you should 1000% end this marriage, and you are 100% right because they are literally manipulating you so hard. And obviously, as that is sad because I'm sure they're struggling because to do that to someone and to like constantly say you're gonna like harm yourself or you're not gonna eat anymore or whatever, you have to have like some mental problems, right? Like you have to be struggling internally in some way. So obviously that's sad, but as much as that's sad, it's not your responsibility to ever take responsibility for the way that someone else is going to treat themselves. Like that, first of all, the reasons is crazy. Like I'd be very grateful for a spouse that was wanting to take care of their family and during a super important time. I would look at them as a great person for doing that. And that's an amazing trait to have, to want to take care of your family, especially if you are able to. And it seems like you are completely 100% right. You are stuck in a very toxic situation and you're being manipulated. And yeah, if you can, like, immediately get out because it's not going to end well at all. And obviously, be expecting that this person is definitely going to be threatening to harm themselves, to starve themselves, to unalive themselves. Like, I'm sure they're going to do everything in the book if they're already doing that with like these situations, like a health scare with family, and they're threatening to do things like that. When you are going to try to leave them, they are going to pull out all the cards and all the stops. So, and that's really scary. And no one should ever do that. Like, that's insane. That's like something that just reminds me of like being in high school and like having someone like toxic and threatening. And like I definitely experienced something similar to that, where like I was talking to this guy in high school. I think I was like a sophomore or a freshman in high school, and he was like a junior or a senior. I think he was 2 years older than me actually. So I think I was a sophomore. I could have been a freshman. I don't know. But one of the two. And he was 2 years older than me. And he lived like super close to me, which isn't really part of the story. I don't know why I just had to say that. But we were like texting and stuff and hanging out once in a while. And this is really, really sad, but he would act like, I don't think it was ever really because of me. I just think it was really because like, he wasn't doing well mentally. But he would like say, "Oh, you don't like me, so I'm going to like hurt myself." And then he would turn his phone off for the rest of the night. And then the next day, like, he would text me telling me that he did hurt himself. I would see him at school and he would be like beat up because he would punch himself and stuff, like beat himself up. And I had never dealt with anything like that before. I didn't even know that was a thing at this point. Like, I mean, I was literally like a freshman in high school, so I had no clue that that was even like, I didn't even know that was even a thing. Like, I didn't realize that that was like a part of self harm. Like, at that point, I had dealt with self harm for so long, like, not on myself, but my sister had been struggling throughout my very small, like since I was really, really small, and I had seen and experienced a lot with that, like ever since I was like really little, at like 5 years old. And she's doing very well now. She's grown, has a child, has stepchildren and stuff. So I'm so proud of her for that. But it was a lot to experience at such a young age, and just to grow up like always, like I was very worried about my sister, and I knew that, like I knew that type of self-harm. Like I knew, like, obviously a lot of what a lot of people know, like cutting yourself and things like that, which that's like the main thing that I knew of in that type of situation. But I never knew that like someone would like beat themselves up and like punch themselves to this degree too. Like he literally would come to school the next day with like his eyeball was like completely shut, swollen, black, blue, green, insane. And was like, oh my God, like this person really is hurting themselves in this way, in a way that I've like never experienced before. And it was very sad. And obviously, like, that is not my responsibility to take control of, but I was so young that I was like, I felt like it was. And like, I didn't stop talking to him for a while. And that happened a lot where he would shut his phone off. And like, he lived near me, which I said earlier. And like, I would try to like go by his house, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to like knock on his door and be like, hey, to his mom or anything. I don't know. I didn't know what to do. I was so young at this point. Like, I had no clue what to do or how to handle that situation. Like, I knew how to handle it with like my own sister, because obviously that's my sister. So, like, if anything were to happen with when I was around her, or I knew that she was like going through a rough time at the moment, like I knew what to do because we lived together. And I would like hide anything that I thought that maybe she could harm herself with, or any pills. Like, this happened when I was in like third grade, and I would just like hide everything because I was just so worried. But like, obviously with someone that like I wasn't that close to, like, yeah, we were texting a lot and like calling on the phone, and we hung out a few times, but it's not like we were like seriously dating or anything. So that was really like, that was a lot to deal with at that time. Okay, some of the top comments. I remember a teacher at school once telling us, and it's always stuck with me, the first time someone threatens to hurt themselves to get you to do something, that's when you get out. If you stay, they will always make you make that threat every time they don't get their way. You need to leave and don't think about what they'll do, because no matter what happens from that point, it's not your fault. This person has threatened to hurt themselves multiple times now to get their way, pulled you away from your family during a critical time, and manipulates you. Not the asshole for wanting out. If I was you, I would, one, act like nothing is wrong for now, two, go see a solicitor to get the papers drawn up, and three, when the papers are ready to give to your partner, pack your things when they're not at home and have someone with you in case they get home early. Four, then give them the papers. Again, make sure someone's there with you so there's a witness to how they react. Also add locking your credit down, and then don't block them but mute them once they leave so you have evidence. Yep, lock all your financials and have nothing that you are sharing with your spouse, including credit cards or any loan. A friend of mine got all his money drained from a share account to pay the mortgage. The house went into foreclosure, and then she sold the house on him. She also maxed out their credit card, leaving him in debt. He lost everything, almost ended up living on the street. More to it, there's more to it, which is his story is fucked up. I don't know what they meant to say. Run and get away from the toxicity as fast as you can. It never gets better, only worse, trust me. I'd add, get your money out of any joint accounts, etc. Untangle yourself financially. Yeah, I think everyone is pretty much saying the same things, but definitely leave, like, maybe for not for everyone, but that is a no-brainer to me. And I don't wish that on anyone. Like, that's a very terrible thing to go through, especially if something ended up happening to that person and then it feels like it's your fault when it's absolutely not your fault. Okay. My 33 female husband, 36 male, may have cheated on me with my dead best friend and had an affair baby. I don't even know where to start. The past 6 months have been an absolute clusterfuck, and it only seems to be getting worse. My best friend since elementary school, who I'll call Alice, passed away in February from cancer. She had a 2-year-old daughter who went into the custody of her mom after she passed away, who I'll call Alexis. Last month, Alexis showed up at our doorstep unannounced, telling my husband he needs to take responsibility for his child and either take custody or start finally paying child support. She says that Alice had told her when her daughter was born who the father was, but didn't want anything to do with him. To answer the inevitable, Alice was a traveling nurse and made a lot of money, which is the only reason I can think for why she didn't go for child support. During this conversation, my husband had the worst panic attack he's ever had, so we had to end the conversation before I could get more details. My husband's story is, I don't even know. He said that Alice's daughter is probably his, but that it isn't what I think. Almost 3 years ago, we threw a large housewarming party as we just moved into our dream home after I finally finished residency and was set to make real money for once. Alice was in town and set to be at the party, but I was called into work before she got there. I didn't get back till after 3 a.m. Party was winding down. My husband was passed out upstairs, and Alice had already left the party, which at the time I did find strange as we hadn't seen each other in months. My husband claims he woke up in the middle of the night to Alice on top of him, but he passed out again before he could say anything. He claims he never told me because he was worried I wouldn't believe him, which I don't know if I do. He showed me some texts he sent his best friend the next day asking for his advice about him thinking someone R-worded him. But if he cheated, he could have had that conversation as evidence, especially since he never said Alice specifically. Ever since the party, he has been very distant with Alice. What? Ever since the party, he has been very distant with Alice. And after she had her daughter, he would even find excuses not to be around the house when she would visit at all. I don't know if that's because he cheated or if Alice did actually R-word him and this was his trauma response. Honestly, Reddit, I don't know what to do. I've known Alice since we were children and she had never come across as that kind of person. But I've also known my husband for over a decade and he's not once ever given the inclination of a cheater. He's an attractive guy, and I've seen the looks he gets at the gym, and he's never even given more than a glance. What the hell should I do? How do I figure out what the truth is here when Alice isn't even around to defend herself? She never even implied she liked my husband, let alone would want to sleep with him. I told my husband that he needs to get a DNA test before anything is decided on the child's part, but in the meantime, he needs to move out while I think about what I'm going to do here. Gosh. Okay. Edit. After talking with you, I've come to realization that my husband is being truthful. My best friend R-worded him. Several people pointed out that with Alice not liking my husband, if it was an affair, she would have told me when she was dying, if only to separate us. You're absolutely right. I was there in the room while she passed. I held her hand for days. We talked about so much. If it was just an affair, she would have told me. But if she R-worded my husband, she wouldn't have said a word. That's the type of thing horrible people take to the grave. I've also come to the realization that I made a terrible mistake asking my husband to leave for a few days while I gather my thoughts. Not to make excuses, but losing my best friend to cancer, a long cancer fight at that, was brutal. To say that I was devastated wouldn't do it justice. That it happened only 6 months ago, I'm still feeling it every day. So to have this thrown on me, it's like I'm losing her all over again. Either she betrayed me and effed my husband, or she betrayed me and R-worded my husband. Not only have I lost her, but now I've lost the good memories an entire lifetime's worth. It was impossible for me to look at him and not also see her and be struck with the horror and realization of that loss all over again. I felt I needed to be able to break down, grieve, and think without the fresh wave of loss I got every time I saw him. It was wrong of me to ask him to leave, you're right though, and as of a few months ago, And as of a few minutes ago, I've righted this wrong. I called my husband, I apologized, told him I believed him, and begged him to come home. He'll be here in a half an hour at most, and I'm going to support my husband the way I know he would have supported me. I've been on I've been an on and off I've been an off and on Reddit user for several years, and sometimes the advice given on subreddits like these can be a bit hit or miss, but today you guys did good. You've helped me realize that not only was I wrong in being stupid at that, but that I was hurting the person that needed me the most. I was selfish. I have no idea what we're going to do as far as the potential daughter is concerned, but I can assure you we'll deal with it together. It's going to take a lot of time and probably a lot of therapy to grieve this new loss. I feel numb now, as though I'll never cry again. My best friend R-worded my husband, which means she was no friend of mine. She flaunted it, coming to my house, sitting with me, and gabbing. She brought her child here, trying to rub it in his face right in front of me. She tortured the man I loved, and I was an unknowing party of it. I feel sick to my stomach over how many times she came over just to hold it over him. I'm honestly at a loss on how to make that up to him. If you all have any ideas, please feel free to give them to me. I think I'll need all the help I can get. Tomorrow I'm going to take a leave of absence from work just until we can figure out our next steps and we can get our heads on straight. Thank you, everyone. That's really sad. Those kind of stories, I'm always like, I don't even know what to say at that point because it's like, there's nothing I can really say. That's just really so sad. And to think that that husband was just carrying that alone, like, I really, obviously it's not his fault that he didn't say anything, but I really wish he did so that she could have, like, you know, confronted her about it and then supported her husband throughout all these years instead of letting the woman, like, rub it in his face. Okay. Top comments, wow, OP, that is a mess. Paternity test for sure. The old text the next day sealed it for me. I think your friend took advantage of your husband. Good luck. This is the story of the day for me. I'm glad the top comments are also understanding this time because I've seen really similar stories on here where people absolutely shit on a woman in the same position. Basically, she cheated, dude. You need to dump her no matter what the circumstances are. Sexual assault survivors in general are often reluctant to make a report because they face doubt and shame. Male sexual assault survivors are even less likely to make a report because they are rarely believed and face derision because sex involves an involuntary physical response on their part, for which ignorant people blame them. There are a lot of comments suggesting a DNA test, and I think you and your husband should consider talking to a family law lawyer first to determine what will happen if the DNA establishes paternity. In all likelihood, his name is not on the birth certificate if Alice was hiding this encounter. I also don't know how your jurisdiction handles parental obligations in situations of R-word. Your husband does not seem to be fighting the possibility, so a DNA test won't necessarily solve your marital issues, and it may expose him to responsibility, financial and otherwise, that he clearly has not wanted for the last 2 years. His reaction screams trauma to me. Not being believed is a victim's worst nightmare. It's hard to be rational with these types of events, but could she have slipped him something? Did she have a history of one-night stands? Could they have been extra chummy because you weren't there and they were drinking? I find it odd she specifically asked about him the first time the baby was over and that she didn't approve of him. On what basis? Edit, lawyer up, and then paternity test. Can you have a calm and collected conversation with your spouse that you want to believe him, but you're also a mess emotionally and that you need a mediator together, therapist, but mostly lawyer up? I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. OP responded to that and said, she was very free-spirited and loved to regale me with her stories of being out on the road. She was very pretty, so you can imagine she didn't do without when she wanted. As for them being chummy, I would have said no if you asked me in June. He was always nice to her, but she didn't like him much. She knew I dreamed of being a doctor and was going places in life while my husband, from all outward appearances, doesn't work that kind of job. He does contract work for companies and the government in project planning. She figured I could and should have done better. Thank you. I appreciate it. My husband is dealing with the DNA stuff and should be contacting a lawyer as well. I'm not sure yet on a therapist, but I'll likely need one eventually. That's so sad. I mean, I really don't have much other to say than that's really sad. And obviously, like, I wish healing to both of them because I can't even imagine, like, how that would feel. Like, putting myself in that position and having, if it were my best friend and my husband, like, ooh, the way that I would want to dig up that grave and, like, slap her so bad. Because, like, how can you do that? That's just, and to just, like, think that obviously you look up to your best friend and you think the best of them, and then to figure that out, especially after you have already been grieving them for so long, and, like, I'm sure, like, putting them on a pedestal, because that's usually what you do with someone that you love when they pass away. So it's like, wow, I can't believe that all this time this is who you were, and I've been putting you on this pedestal and grieving you, and that's what you did, like, to someone that I love, to my partner of all, like, really? Okay. My throat is like, grr. I need to drink some of my water. Did that work? I don't know. I'm trying to swallow like the quietest I could possibly ever swallow in my entire life. But after I talk too much, like, my throat starts closing up. Okay. My 29 male friend, 30 male, and his girlfriend, 29 female, posted a TikTok video of my 3-year-old asking her about her dead mother, and I'm heartbroken. My wife passed away a few months ago. We had known each other for over 15 years, married for 5 years. We were soulmates, longtime friends, and we had never imagined that we would break up, divorce, or live a life apart from each other. Last week, I sort of collapsed and had to go to the hospital. Nothing serious, just weakness due to stress, anemia, and lack of sleep. In any case, during this time, my kid had to stay with my close friend and his girlfriend for a while until my parents drove over to pick her up. A few days after this event, a lot of my old acquaintances and friends I hadn't heard from in years randomly began to message, call me, ask to meet up, offer help out of nowhere, etc. I didn't know why this was happening until I found out that my friend and his girlfriend had posted a TikTok of my child, which ended up going a bit viral in my town. I watched the video and I couldn't stop sobbing for several hours. I've been trying to keep it together, but I can no longer do so. Apparently, my friend and his girlfriend were making a video of their kid and mine playing together when my kid started crying, saying that she missed her mom. In the video, my friend and his girlfriend proceeded to question her, saying "aw" and "ooh," and asking her if she knows where her mom is and how much she misses her mom and when she's coming back, etc. My daughter is too young and has trouble understanding that her mom is dead and not coming back. I work from home and she mostly stays with me while my wife goes to work, grocery shopping, etc., and my kid still thinks her mom is at work. In the video, she continues to say her mom is at work, and my friends question her, asking when she's coming back, how much she misses her mom, and similar questions. The video is effing captioned, "My friend's wife recently passed away. I feel so bad for their daughter who doesn't understand that she's gone," or something to that effect. I am heartbroken, bitter, and I wish I could explain the amount of hatred I have towards my friend, his girlfriend, and all the people who have commented saying how much they pity my kid. I don't know how to get over this feeling of anger and deep resentment. Since then, they have taken down the video and apologized, but how could they be so insensitive? The worst thing is, I keep rewatching the video, and every time I feel myself get torn apart by the fact that my kid doesn't understand what has happened. I'm so upset and bitter, and I've been repeatedly thinking I should have died instead. I've been trying my hardest to make my daughter not miss her mom, and I feel deeply pained by the fact that my kid will never know her mom, or my wife never got a chance to see our daughter growing up. I'm rambling, but I don't know where to go, where to talk about this. I was trying to keep myself together. It's late at night, and I'm rewatching this video and remembering the comments of how my daughter will grow up without a mother, and it's making me feel deep resentment for my friend and his girlfriend. I am so effing upset and angry. I'm just shaking. I just keep thinking about it. I don't know how to function anymore. Perhaps I'm directing all my anger and frustration towards them. I'm self aware enough to understand that, but how could they be so insensitive? How could they do this to me? What gave them the right to ask my kid those questions to make her miss her mom even more? I don't know why I'm here. Sorry if this is too much. I'm not thinking, just writing whatever comes to my head. I just wanted to vent. I just don't know where else to go, but I had to talk to someone. My parents and her parents have been very supportive, but I feel suffocated and I don't feel comfortable talking to them. I'm starting to hate living, and that scares me. My daughter doesn't deserve to lose her father, too. I wish I could just move on already and be a good father. I hope I love her the way that she deserves. She's the most precious thing in the world, and I'm so terrified that I'm going to let her down and disappoint her. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for him. I mean, I can't even imagine, like, that's really just knocking in the pain even more. Like, why would you? Not only that, but like a few months ago, she passed away a few months ago, and you think that's okay to like, that's so sad to be like, oh, when's your mom coming back? Why the would you ask a kid that? Why would you ask a little kid when their mom is coming back when she obviously passed away? And this little kid obviously doesn't even understand that her mom is not coming back and thinks that her mom is at work. Okay, some of the top comments. Your friends are horrible people. Even disregarding the content of the video, the idea that they would feature a child that is not their own on their social media is enough for them to be horrible friends. The content is absolutely inexcusable and they had no right to post it at all. Seriously, it is not okay to post pictures or anything about other people's children on social media without specific permission from their parents. I completely agree. OP, you need grief counseling and a widower's support group. Speaking to others who are in the same position as you but are further along in the journey will go a long way in coping and helping your daughter through this time in your life. My deepest condolences, and I hope you take my advice. Hell, last time my wife and I, child free, were out with friends and their kids, my wife asked before even taking photos of the kids for her own memories, not even for socials, and it's just polite, really. I feel like it looks not as green as it usually does. That's so sad. The only comment that he's commented back is, I've been very emotional lately, and words like these touch me more than I can explain. Thank you for at least making me feel a little like things will be better someday. Hope I can be there for that. No, you can't leave your little child. Imagine losing your mom and then like losing your dad too. That's just okay. He responded, I'm gonna read the comment that was his response to. Wow, those people are horrible friends. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm sorry you have lost your soulmate. I'm sorry your little girl will grow up without her mommy, but she will grow up knowing her because you will tell about her. You will tell her how her kind heart is just like her mommy's, how her smile and eyes remind you of your beautiful late wife. You will tell her funny stories of the amazing woman she was, and your daughter will know her mommy through you, through your love. We don't understand why these things happen, and empty words from family and friends are meaningless in times of grief. Feel your emotions, feel anger, feel sadness and despair. You'll soon feel guilty for smiling or laughing or just living. Live for your little girl. Live for the little moments that will make you smile during the day. Cry alone, cry with your baby. Talk to your girl, talk to yourself, talk to a professional to help guide you. Yell and scream at the world, scream at God, your late wife, but feel all the things, and soon the sun will rise and a day will pass, and you will not feel like the grief is all consuming. You were betrayed by two people you loved and trusted enough to care for your little girl whilst you were dealing with your own troubles. I would go no contact for my own sanity for now. Ask for help and take the help offered, sending hugs and love from an internet stranger. Those people can actually get fucked because that is just so upsetting. Okay, let's see. Okay, someone from the, ooh, I don't know if I have time. I only have I think I only have 10 minutes. Wait, let me check. Yeah, I only have 10 minutes left on this camera. Unfortunately, but also not because it's 9:30 and I do need to go to bed soon, especially because I don't really feel well. Okay, let's read this. Me in literally 8th grade. In every picture. This is what I did. Or this. Wait. That's how I posed in pictures. That's the face that I made. Who the fuck told me that was okay? Okay, anyways. Back to the real nitty gritty. Okay, the title is Am I the asshole for feeling angry at my brother-in-law's girlfriend for wearing my husband's t-shirt? I'm pregnant, 24 weeks. My husband and I were visiting his folks in their city the past week. It was fraught with problems. They are challenging people. My brother-in-law, 28 male, has been dating this woman, 30 female, for 3 years. At my wedding 1.5 years ago, she spent all her time telling me how lucky I am to have bagged him. I said he's certainly wonderful, but then I laughed and joked that he was the lucky one. Anyway, my brother-in-law and husband don't talk much, so we haven't had any conversations with the woman that he's dating ever since. When we visited last week, she and I ended up living at mother-in-law's place. It's a small space, so things were tight. I was on alert for any weird behavior. Well, apart from her babying him around, nothing inappropriate or sexually charged happened. We returned day before yesterday. She video calls me today. I was outside and couldn't attend it. Anyway, I find out I find abrupt video calls really invasive. When I called her back on a regular audio call, she cut it. She video called me again, and with the biggest smile on her face, she yells, "Guess what I'm wearing?" I stared stupidly at the screen and realized that she was wearing my husband's t-shirt. The t-shirt means a lot to us. We met over a dating app. It's a striking t-shirt, and he was wearing it in his profile picture. I remember sharing this story with the in-laws once, but I can't recollect if she were there to hear it. Anyways, I'm so effing annoyed. Her boyfriend has a million clothes at his mom's place. Why couldn't she just wear one of those? I find it so weird that she insisted on video calling me whilst wearing my husband's clothes. So, am I the asshole? No. I mean, she's weird. Why is she weird? She's giving creepy behavior. I'd be like, girl, why are you obsessed with my husband? Like, you're dating his brother. How about go get his shirt? What? Not the asshole. That's definitely weird behavior from her. It's understandable why you're annoyed. She seems to be trying to mark her territory, and it's disrespectful to you and your relationship with your husband. It's even weirder and more sus that she insisted on calling OP about it, and not just a regular phone call, a FaceTime, so she can see her wearing the shirt. Why? What's her motive? Ooh. Okay. This person commented kind of a long story for a comment, but we're going to read it. It's simple gloating from an insecure person. Let me tell you a story. Back in the aughts, my older brother was dating this girl who was way into beauty pageants. I've always been more of a tomboy, so she and I never bonded over any of the beauty stuff, but I could always tell I made her insecure despite trying my best to be welcoming and friendly. She and I were the same height, and for the first few years I knew her, she wore one size larger than me. One year, she had a big pageant coming up that she hoped to win a lot of money from, so she spent the entire summer starving and ellipticaling 40 pounds off of herself. I didn't see her over those months, so the next time I saw her, she looked shockingly gaunt and frail. When I walked into my parents' kitchen where she was sitting next to my brother, the very first thing she says, no hello or nice to see you, is, "I lost 40 pounds," while standing up and giving me a spin. I said, "I see that," in kind of an encouraging tone. I was a little nonplussed, to be honest, so she then said, "I wear a size 4 in pants now." And I was like, cool. Fast forward to the next day when we're getting ready to go to a holiday performance. She comes to me and says, "I didn't bring anything nice enough to wear to this thing. Can I borrow something from you?" I said I didn't have any dresses. Remember tomboy, but that I had some dress pants, though clearly they wouldn't fit her now. She says, let me just go try them on and we'll see. So she goes upstairs to my room, puts on the pants that are absolutely going to be 2 sizes too big, comes all the way back down to me in the living room just so she could hold out the waistband and say, yeah, they're way too big. Like, it was so obvious she was trying to rub my face in it, and that this whole I forgot clothes thing was a ruse to get to show me how much bigger I was than her, that I was just embarrassed for her. Oh, and yeah, she had totally brought a dress to wear. She just forgot. Anyway, I get the same vibes from this story. My advice is just to be embarrassed for this insecure chick and move on. I mean, honestly, when you really think about that deep, that's kind of sad because it seems like she probably has like body issues, which I have like obviously I've told you guys I used to have an eating disorder and everything, and it was really bad, but I would never do that to anyone because I know how that feels, because someone that I was friends with in high school, which is pretty much like the reason that I kind of got an eating disorder, would do something like that and like always point out when people were bigger and be like, oh, but like bigger as in like not big, and like I was pretty much that size, and she'd be like, she's so fat, like about other people, or like she would look in the mirror and be like, ew, I'm so fat, which obviously it's like, okay, I understand like you're insecure, but when you're like so much skinnier than I am and you're saying like all the time that you're so fat and always doing like all this stuff to try to lose like scary stuff to try to lose weight, and like not saying that you have to be secretive about it, but it's almost like it was encouraging, like she was encouraging her friends like me and other girls that were friends with her to do it. Like she was just proudly doing it. And yeah, all I remember is she would always make comments about other people and the way that they looked, and if they were just like a normal weight, an average weight, which I was very much so, and I already did like try to go on diets before and stuff, and like I had been going on diets since I was in like 7th grade, but I never was like super super crazy about it. And then like once this girl came into my life, it definitely like changed crazy in a crazy way, and I was like, oh, because I didn't really even know that kind of thing existed. Like I did because I knew that someone that in my family member had an eating disorder when they were younger, so I like knew about it like that, but I never thought about it. I kind of was just like, whoa, that's really crazy. Like I never really thought about doing it. And then like she exposed me, which I'm not saying it's 100% her fault. Obviously, I take responsibility for it too, but it was just like, I don't know. In a way, I do kind of feel like it was partly her fault, but she would just like do all these crazy things and talk about it and just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like go throw this up, or I'm gonna go like put suppositories up my ass, or this and this and this, or I'm not going to eat for like a few days, blah, blah, blah. And like she would always like say that and stuff to me. And I was like, oh, I can lose weight that way? Like, okay, sounds good. Which never do this because it's so terrible for you. And you should never, ever, ever do that. Eating disorders just fuck up your metabolism and make you struggle for no reason, because it's not a sustainable thing. It's not a sustainable lifestyle. You're going to gain the weight back, and it's probably going to be worse because you're going to end up having a shitty metabolism that you're going to have to work for. Like you're going to have to work back, if that makes sense. You're going to have to work to get it back to normal because it just really fucks with your body. And I really wish I never did it in the first place, because I'm also now 10 pounds heavier than I was like 2 years ago. And it's like, come on, really? For what? I'm like 26 years old. It's like, that's so stupid. I wish I would have just like learned how to be healthy. But obviously, like the people around you obviously affect the way that you do things. And when it seems so normalized in a way that like you're just like, oh, okay, like cool, that's an option, but you're not really like educated about it, then you just start doing that. But Okay, that's gonna be the last story because I literally have 1 minute. I just realized I was yapping for so long, but I love you guys so much, and subscribe, comment always because you know I love talking to you. Like the video and maybe share it with a friend. I will see you guys on Friday.